Today, we're diving into one of the most dramatic, in-your-face sermons in the entire Bible, Jeremiah chapter 7. Now, this isn't some quiet, reflective teaching. No, this is a public showdown, delivered by the prophet Jeremiah at a moment of absolute national crisis, right at the gates of the most sacred place in Jerusalem.
So let me ask you this. Can a holy place actually become a hideout for criminals? That's the explosive question right at the heart of Jeremiah's message. He's about to take a sledgehammer to the very foundation of his people's religious security, forcing them to ask a really uncomfortable question. Had their place of worship become a shield for wickedness?
Okay, to really feel the impact of this sermon, you have to picture the scene. We're in Jerusalem, somewhere around 600 BC, during the reign of King Jehoiakim, and the air is just thick with tension. The old world powers are crumbling, and the terrifying Babylonian Empire is on the rise, casting this huge shadow over Judah. You can just feel that disaster is right around the corner.
And the location? It's a critical part of the message. God tells Jeremiah to go stand right at the temple gate. This wasn't some private memo for the king. No way. This was a public indictment, delivered at the busiest entrance, designed to confront people right as they were coming to worship. It was a brilliant strategic move to expose the massive gap between their religious rituals and their actual everyday lives.
So what was the root of the problem? Well, the people of Judah had developed this incredibly dangerous false sense of security. They basically thought that because God's temple was physically located in their city, God would never ever let Jerusalem be destroyed. They were putting all their trust in the building, not the God the building was supposed to represent.
And Jeremiah just throws their own favorite slogan right back in their faces. You can almost hear them chanting it. The temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord. It was like this magic spell, this mantra they believed would guarantee their safety no matter how they lived their lives. It was a comfortable lie for sure, but it was a lie that had no power to save them.
And the contrast between their chanting and their actions is just staggering. While they're claiming they're protected by God, what are they actually doing? Well, this list reads like a greatest hits of breaking the 10 Commandments. They steal, they murder, they commit adultery, they lie under oath, and they're out there worshiping other gods. The hypocrisy is just off the charts.
This all leads up to the sermon's fiery climax, a den of robbers. Now think about that. It isn't the place where thieves do their robbing. It's the safe house they run back to after the crime to hide and divvy up the loot. And that's exactly what God accuses them of. They were using his temple as a spiritual hideout, a place to do some rituals, feel forgiven, and then go right back out to their life of injustice. And he ends with this chilling line, "Behold, even I have seen it." God's saying, you're not fooling anyone. I see everything.
But this sermon isn't just about condemnation. It's also a final offer of mercy, a last chance. God lays out what he really wants, and spoiler alert, it has nothing to do with more animal sacrifices or chanting empty slogans. It's a call for a fundamental, radical change in how they live and how they treat each other.
The choice couldn't be clearer. On one side, you have their lying words, trusting in a building, using ritual as a cover for sin. And on the other side, you have God's demand to truly amend your ways, and this means real, tangible things. It means executing real justice, protecting the most vulnerable people in society, and putting a stop to idolatry and violence.
So what does amending your ways actually look like? Well, it's not some vague spiritual idea. Jeremiah lays out 4 concrete actions. Number 1, be fair and just in how you treat each other. Number 2, protect the most vulnerable. That means the immigrant, the orphan, and the widow. Number 3, stop the bloodshed. And number 4, stop worshiping false gods. This is a call for a complete social and spiritual revolution.
Now, to prove that this isn't just an empty threat, God pulls a reference from their own history books. He tells them to go look at a place called Shiloh. And for the people of Judah listening, hearing that name would have sent a shiver down their spine.
See, Shiloh was the original center of worship for Israel. It's where the tabernacle and the Ark of the Covenant sat for generations. But a few hundred years earlier, around 1050 BC, the Israelites got arrogant and started treating the Ark like a lucky rabbit's foot, carrying it into battle, thinking it made them invincible. For that profound disrespect, God allowed the Philistines to defeat them and completely destroy Shiloh. The ruins of their very first sanctuary were a permanent reminder of their failure.
The parallel is inescapable, and it's terrifying. God is basically saying, you think this temple makes you special? I had a house in Shiloh, and when they defiled it, I abandoned it. I will do the exact same thing to this house in Jerusalem that you put so much trust in. He's using their own sacred history as a blueprint for their coming judgment. And this is where the sermon takes its final, darkest turn. God has laid out a path to repentance, but he knows they won't take it. He has sent warning after warning, and they've refused to listen. So now, a line has been crossed. The time for mercy is over. God says he will cast them out just like he cast out the whole seed of Ephraim. That's a direct reference to the northern kingdom of Israel, their own relatives, their countrymen who had been conquered and exiled by the Assyrians about a century earlier. This wasn't some theoretical threat. This was a recent family tragedy. God was saying, remember what happened to your cousins for their disobedience? You're next. And then we get one of the most chilling verses in the whole Bible. God tells Jeremiah, the prophet whose entire job is to intercede for the people, to stop praying for them. He says, don't even bother, because I will not hear you. The case is closed. The verdict is in, and all appeals have been denied. Judah has crossed a point of no return. Their constant, stubborn refusal to listen has sealed their fate. Judgment is no longer a possibility, it's a certainty. The door for mercy, which was held open at the start of the sermon, has just been slammed shut.
And all of this leaves us with a timeless and honestly a deeply unsettling question. Jeremiah's sermon forces us to ask ourselves, when does our religious practice, our sacred spaces, our confident talk about faith stop being about true devotion and start becoming a cover, a den of robbers for a life that completely ignores justice and compassion? It's a question that echoes from the gates of ancient Jerusalem right down to our world today.